Good morning. So Michael Ingersoll caught me in a weak moment to ask me to do this power talk. I've been slipping out of doing them for 18 years. And when I went around to ask people, I said, I have to do a power talk. What should I talk about? And all my CSL friends said, you mean you get to do a power talk? That's when you know you're in good company. But they said, just be yourself. Just be Andrea. Just be yourself. It'll be great. Kathy Ann just said, you'll just get up there and talk, whatever. So I said to myself, but this is 5 minutes that they'll never get back. So I better say something of substance. I first walked in the doors here kind of slightly unwillingly from a friend who dragged me here in 1996, and I think I've probably been to many more services than I haven't been to for the last 18 years. It's over a third of my life I've spent here. And I just love this place. I love this place. I have a passion for this place. I came in and it was Groundhog's Day and it was their high holy holiday, and I thought that was so cool. And then there was a talk that Kathy Ann did about light and shadows and embracing your shadow and shedding light, and she used metaphors from Star Trek and physics and science and psychology, and it just grabbed my intellect and grabbed my heart. I had a broken heart that day. I had had a broken heart for a couple of months, and since that time, I have reassembled my heart, strengthened my heart, softened it, and opened it way up by spending time here with these teachings and these programs. So I can't summarize in a very short time 18 years of amazing manifestations from these teachings. I was a slow burner. I was kind of the crock pot of spiritual development because it took me a long time. I actually became a licensed practitioner last year. It took me 18 years to get there. Thanks. So I'm just going to summarize by a few categories what I experienced from these teachings. And the main theme of it is God as source. God is the source. God is the source of everything and everyone and every event and everywhere. And I really glommed onto this when it came to donating money originally. I wrote a check the first year I was here that was over a fourth of my income. I don't know how much I'm going to earn each year because I'm self-employed. So I just put this down as a stake in the ground. And, it was really easy because Kathy Ann had said that it's not your money, it's God's money. It's just the circulation of love from God. So when it came to becoming a member and tithing was only 10%, it was like, oh, that's easy. I've been way overdoing it. So it's just not your money, and just remember that. And now it's a game. I just write down how much I think a tenth of my income should be. It's usually a large number, and then I see what happens. And it's been happening quite well after this. In my work, in my career, in my museum work, some of you know I work on developing interactive museums, kind of a niche industry. People say, you do what? My father used to say, they need that? Anyone needs that? All the credit to the success I give to the teachings because my mental equivalent has been enlarged by the programs here and by the teachings. And each project I've taken on has gotten larger and larger. And thankfully, I haven't had any that haven't made opening day on time and on budget with, interesting experiences. They're God's ideas. They're God's ideas. They flow through my team, my creative team, and it's a lovely divine process to watch them come together in their interdisciplinary roles and find a place where we think of something new, something engaging. And the faith that I get from knowing God as the source is that I can see people walking through these experiences before we've even begun to put them on paper. I can see people enjoying themselves in the building, doing things, laughing, having fun, and then it is manifested through divine faith. So I'm so appreciative of that. A really quick thing happened where somebody stole one of our ideas and produced it. And one of my colleagues said, doesn't it just make you crazy mad when someone takes your creativity and then takes advantage of that and sells it? And I said, based on the teachings here, I took foundations 4 times, by the way. There's plenty more where that came from. There's plenty more where that came from. There's an endless amount of creativity available all the time. If they need to steal that one thing, God bless them. God's my source, and I know there's plenty where that came from. He said, well, I rely on lawsuits to solve those problems. So he relies on lawsuits, I rely on God. And I think I'm a happier person for it. Yeah, thanks. And just overcoming. You know, you can have a great, successful career, but you can have some issues in your personal life. Those are the consciousness that I'm developing. 3 years ago, my marriage ended against my will. I was very sad, and at the same time, my father, who is my North Star, was dying. And it was a very, very rough time, because when he died, I felt like an entire library had been burned down. He was such a source of wisdom for me. And I went to a retreat, because when I get there, in that place where I'm sad, I know I need to deepen my spiritual practice and call on God. And I do that through retreats and programs here at CSL. Kathy Ann saw me in the lobby and she said, "How are you doing?" And I looked really bad. I'd been sobbing on my kitchen floor for weeks. And she said, "You know, Andrea, the one day you're going to find a place where you are at the center of calm, while the rest of the world just swirls around you, disintegrating, falling apart, some things blossoming, some things not, some things colliding. And you will have that God inside you that keeps you calm and keeps you centered." And boy, I really wanted to feel that then. I so did. And I'm so happy to say that after embarking upon Inward Journey and Prac 2 and becoming a practitioner, that I feel that now in the face of a lot of adversity. And I really wish for everybody to have that experience. And lastly, God is an absolutely unlimited source of love, and it shows up so clearly here in this community. I first came here, kind of sat in the back, really loved the talks, and then zipped out as fast as possible, and took a lot of classes, because I'm very kind of a lifelong learner type. And I grew up in a family of real fierce individualists who don't really join lots of clubs and societies and things. And my father, who's English, used to say about people derisively, "He's the type of fellow that sings on buses." So, well, Dad, I sing on buses. If you saw me in India last year, we sang all the way through the countryside. So I want to say that when I went through the sorrow that I went through, that people invited me into their sanghas, they invited me to their houses, they encouraged me to see practitioners, they encouraged me to be a practitioner. They comforted me and they celebrated with me. I was so sad when we opened the Museum of History and Industry that I didn't have a partner with me to see that, and my dad was dead and I didn't think he could see it, although I know that's not true. But the entire church came. Everybody came and celebrated and witnessed that accomplishment with me, and I was so grateful. So thanks very much. I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy to have made so many friends, and I really appreciate all of your love and support. Thanks.